there's a couple of tools I have looked up in AWS. So if you're familiar with AWS Deep Composer, are you familiar with that? You play that a little bit.
I've
made some music.
I think I've got a keyboard that I got just for it, right? So tell us a little bit. Okay, so you can use like a full-on keyboard as well, can you?
Yeah, the way it works is pretty cool, actually. So you can just plug in a regular keyboard into a USB port, and it generally recognizes most keyboards. It's just a simple MIDI channel, and you can just play music in. There's a couple of algorithms that you can use. When we talk about generative AI, we talk about ChatGPT. The T in ChatGPT is transformer. That's one of the really, really common methods. And so in the Deep Composer model, you've got the choice of using the transformer model. The great thing about the musical side of the transformer model is it takes like a melody input. It looks at the relationships, it looks at the style of the music, and it tries to create something new. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of how that works with some of the GPT type models. Where it does something similar. It sort of tokenizes the individual words. It looks at the context of those words, and then a GPT model, which we'll get to this a little bit later, but I'll do a little SageMaker Jumpstart example on GPT where we can type some text in and you can see it start to predict what the next set of words is going to be. Decomposer, we're using it for creative music, which is absolutely incredible. Would you like to see a little bit of a demo? Do you want to see a bit of Decomposer?
I think I would like to see a demo, Paul. And by the way, Paul, I recognize that as a reInvent certified T-shirt. So if you were certified and you intend a reInvent, you would have that. I've actually got one of my reInvent T-shirts that you could only get at that reInvent swag store.
Yeah, I think the most important thing was there was a T-shirt, but you could get Lego and you could build your own Lego.
Yes, I have my Lego blocks. I'll bring them out to the shed next time.
That'll be series 2, right? Demoing AWS with Lego. There we go. Excellent stuff. Yeah. So what you see on the screen here. So we've got something here called the Music Studio. You can see I've been quite busy composing lots of music. So I think the key with any sort of generative AI involves a lot of experimentation. And so I like to play with the different things. So we can just simply start composing. We can either record a track there. So my keyboard is actually not plugged in, but I could quite easily play the keyboard, record a track in. Fortunately, though, there's lots of melodies you can choose from. So we can pick Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, for example. I don't know if this will come through the audio. Does this come through the audio? Does that come through?
No,
it might not. No, my audio show might not be on, but you got Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And what you can do, you can continue. You can choose the type of model that you want to use. So remember, we talked about the transform model. That's the one on the end there. That's the one that will take the Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star tune. It will understand the chords. It will understand the context of that melody and the harmony, and it will actually extend that melody and produce something a little bit new, which is really quite cool. So we can click on the transform model, for example. If people aren't familiar with artificial intelligence, or the machine learning, the way it works is we take an input. In this case, it's some music. We then train a model. So this model is already trained. And what we're simply doing is tweaking some of the features of the model. And then that model will run under inference, we call this at this point in time, and that will generate some new music. So there's a few parameters that we can tweak there. We can click on continue. And it's literally a few minutes. And then we'll have not only Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, but we'll have hopefully a tune.
Total banger.
I like it.
There you go. That was a bad one go, was it? That was straight random, wasn't it?
So let's have a look at some of the really good ones, Paul.
Yeah, so you've got some. Yeah, we got some ones here on SoundCloud, for example. So we've got a bass riff that I did with Deep Composer demo. So the way I composed these ones is I fed in different types of music. This was original music from a keyboard, and then probably I did maybe 5 or 10 experiments with different models, and these are probably the best 3 that I could find. So fair disclosure here, these weren't the first time models. What you just heard was a first time model, but generally you want to run these 10, 20 times and pick the best one. And as a real composer, I'll probably take pieces of what the computer generated, stitch it together in something different to really sort of make it a full composition. So yeah, bass.
Is that what you've done here, Paul? Like you've just you've
these are raw
together, or this is just raw generated?
No, these are raw. Yeah, these three are raw. So this one down here, Another World, is one of my compositions. So it starts off with a full-blown sort of composition for 4 bars, and then it starts to do its own thing after 4 bars. So for about probably that this where's my mouse pointer here? Probably about from here onwards is everything that's new. And this one's just using a different technique. And this one, I can't remember which technique I'd use. I have to listen to it and be able to tell you.
Pretty good, Paul. I recognize that one. Do you recognize this one? Did you use like Sonic the Hedgehog for that?
No. Well, pretty much the AI generated chords use that bass riff you heard. It's using AI generated chords from that bass riff, so that's why those two go together. I remember how I did that. And this third one's quite different. You're about to play. It's basically a chord progression for 4 bars, and then the computer just does its own thing after 4 bars. So it's pretty wild.
Should I play that one?
Go for that one. Yeah. A lot of pause in that one. I was a bit more.
No, it's like it's trolling you. It's like I'm finished. No, wait, no, slightly more. Yeah,
I think I'll stick to Deep Racer.
But I think the approach that I really like, is to take the models, take the tunes, put them through the models, get 10, 20 ideas, and then I'd probably stitch them together. As you can see, there's some good stuff in there, but you'd probably need to isolate that and make something of it, maybe develop it a bit more. But it's amazing that you've got these tools now that just extend, your creative imagination. So writing material can be very challenging, especially if you're a film composer or TV composer. I used to do that years ago. And writing material can be very challenging. So to have a tool that generates lots of material for you makes your job a lot easier.